American flag and all flags all together. What are your thoughts?
I think it's completely disrespectful, especially that this happened on the eve of Veterans Day. This is disrespectful to veterans. And the school even acknowledged in their email that it's upsetting for veterans to have the flag at half-staff without it being permitted by anybody else. And then instead of, putting the flag back up where it should be, they completely remove it in altogether.
Sure.
This is like a mother taking away a toy from two bickering children, and instead of giving one child the toy, they're just completely removing it. But instead of being a toy, this is a symbol that shows the freedom of our nation.
Yeah. Well, we know you're a correspondent for Campus Reform, and your university is part of a consortium with this particular university. I want you to listen to one of the students who supports removing the flag. This guy actually goes to Hampshire College.
Do you yearn for more diversity on your campus, or are you happy in a world where everyone thinks like you?
I think diversity is a different word when you're applying it to political standpoints versus different aspects. The point of Hampshire College isn't to create a model of our country and then simulate like political debate and whatnot. It's to figure out, well, what is most liberally collect, what is the most social justice academia.
Cassie, as you listen to him speak, does it seem like he's trying to make a political statement, or he is simply a sore loser?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that the student thinks that, well, in the interview he said that to hear conservative viewpoints he goes to the other colleges in the 5-college consortium.
Right.
And that's insane. I'm a student in this college consortium, and the other schools do not have a lot of conservative viewpoints. I think the student doesn't realize that college is supposed to prepare you for the real world. Being a conservative student at a liberal school, I'm more privileged than the rest of the students. I'm getting a better education because I have the ability to constantly debate with other students and learn from them. These students can't even tolerate different opinions. And if you have a different opinion, a lot of times you are completely harassed or even silenced by other students and professors. My school, fortunately, most professors tolerate my opinions, and so do students. But there are small groups of students who don't tolerate my opinions.
Yeah. I can't believe they even lowered the flag to half-staff in the beginning of all of this. Cassie, I think you should go burn a book on your campus and see if they remove all the books. Thank you so much for being with us. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
A little crazy.
Ridiculous.
The cost to go to that college, $62,000 a year.
Well, Hayden's not going there.
What do you think about that particular school where they took down all the flags? Email us, friends@foxnews.com. Particularly important the day before Thanksgiving.
It's the American flag.
Yeah, no kidding. Meanwhile, do you know what your kids are being assigned at school as homework? Well, apparently protesting Donald Trump. We're going to give you details about that coming up.
Plus, President Obama's legacy will now include letting a record-breaking number of criminals out of jail. Details straight ahead. And
our own Janice Dean is the dancing machine today. She's rocking and rolling with Johnny Rockets. Well, today is the busiest travel day of the year, and one of the critical things is you've got to have some good conditions to travel generally.
Oh, good. I didn't think about that, but I'm heading to the airport today, so I'll be in the sea of craziness.
I think you'll go guaranteed of one thing, and that's traffic. Hi, Janice.
Hello. Where are you traveling to, my friend?
I'm heading down south. I think the weather's good on the East Coast, right?
You're going to be fine, but
okay,
I'm so impressed that you haven't emailed me with your personal forecast yet. You're such a doll.
Has everyone been doing that?
Brian does that every single day of his life.
I do. Absolutely. What's the weather like in Massapequa?
Listen, we're going to have so much fun today. It is National Jukebox Day. We've got music, we've got burgers, we've got dancing, we've got everything. So you don't want to touch that dial. But first of all, we got to get you to Grandma's house, all right? Let's take a look at your airport delays. So far, so good. Now, this is from the FAA, and they say all is well in the air right now. We don't have any delays, but we do have that storm system across the upper Midwest that's going to move into the Ohio Valley and the Mississippi River Valley, and that could bring some rain, some thunderstorms, and some snow. This is not a strong storm, but it is going to give you some messy travel today, so just be aware. There is your travel forecast. So across the upper Midwest, the Northwest, that's where we're dealing with those storm systems. The rest of the country looks good. Ainsley, I think you're going to be fine heading out there. Parade forecast. Okay, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We could have some rain in the forecast, but I think the parade is going to be totally fine. We're going to maybe see a rain drop or two, but otherwise light winds, which is great news because they can't get those balloons up in the very gusty wind conditions. So there you go. Heather, I hope you're going to be outside with us today. We're going to be having lots of fun.
Janice Dean, you look beautiful. You look like you're ready to go on a USO tour. Love it.
Okay,
Save
let's
me a
go.
burger. All right, good morning. Good morning to all of you. A couple news headlines to bring you right now. A mad holiday travel rush is now on. AAA predicting the busiest Thanksgiving travel season in nearly a decade. Nearly 49 million Americans are trekking 50 miles or more, thanks in part to cheap gas prices. The national average is about $2.16 a gallon. If you're one of the nearly 4 million people expected to fly today, well, you can expect some long security lines. Trains also packed, tickets selling out since Sunday. Well, even more criminals ready to walk the streets thanks to President Obama. 79 additional sentences now cut short as the outgoing president continues his clemency crusade. The total number of commuted sentences under the administration now reaching 123. That's more than the last 11 presidents combined, and it's not over yet. President Obama is expected to add to this number during his final weeks in office. And if your kids go to the University of Pittsburgh, I bet you didn't know that you were paying for this. Extra credit is being offered to students who attend an anti-president-elect protest. An assistant to the Dean of Academic Affairs emailing, quote, "We have to fight harder than ever to make sure Pittsburgh is a safe home for everyone, and your participation in this effort is critical." We'll leave the politics out of fashion, says Tommy Hilfiger. He says that fellow designers should be proud to dress the future First Lady, Melania Trump. Well, his comments come after designers, a few of them, had refused to work with the incoming First Lady. He spoke at the Angel Ball in New York. Hilfiger says, quote, "I think Melania is a very beautiful woman, and I think any designer should be proud to dress her. I don't think people should become political about it." And those are your headlines. I'll see you back here shortly. Let's head back outside.
We're starting off our morning with some great tunes because today is National Jukebox Day.
What else would it be? And here to celebrate, we've got the CEO of Johnny Rockets, John McGuire, and the President of Development and Operations, James Walker. Good morning.
And we have a waitress
Good morning.
as well.
Yes, I'll be taking your orders.
Oh, thank you very much. And dancing for us.
Oh, absolutely. And doing the weather.
Okay,
It's going to be...
the idea is for us to order, talk to you, and then at the end of the segment, we'll wind up with our food. So what would you like, Miss Ainsley?
I think I'm going to do a cheeseburger this morning.
Cheeseburger, 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 cheeseburger.
And I would like the jukebox burger.
Jukebox
The
burger.
jukebox? You have a jukebox
We have a
burger?
jukebox burger.
You should get a turkey
What's
burger
on
since
that?
it's Thanksgiving.
Jukebox burger is our fresh, never frozen beef, bacon, double American cheese, and caramelized onions.
Got that?
I'm learning.
Good call.
Can I change my
I'm
order?
going to have the same thing. Oh, you want one too?
I think I want one too.
Okay, three of those.
patty.
You
Three
guys are
junk
so
food.
difficult.
Go. Please,
So,
trade.
so I got to ask you, James, why Johnny Rockets it's got a great theme, but it's so simple. Why does simple work?
Well, I think that's it. Simple is easy to understand for our guests. We're about quality and service, and that's what people are looking for in a dining experience.
It's really simple. Okay, so, John,
Yes.
even though you run Johnny Rockets, you're not the John behind Johnny Rockets.
I'd like to take credit for it, but I'm not. It is the coolest name in the restaurant industry.
Where's it come from?
Actually, the founder of Johnny Rockets had an affinity for Johnny Appleseed
Yeah.
and Oldsmobile Rocket 88s. And so he put those two things together, and Johnny Rockets was born.
What's the history of the company?
Today, this month, we're actually celebrating our 30th anniversary.
fantastic.
We're going to open our 400th location a little later in December. And we have 168 international locations in 28 countries. And later this week, we're going to open at One Penn Plaza, a brand new Johnny Rockets.
How long does it take to train a waitress, a waiter, a cook, how long, a host? What is it?
That's a great question. We spend a lot of time on training. That service element's really important to us. We spend probably 4 weeks getting ready to open.
You know what I love? Everybody's in a good mood.
Now look at this.
Oh, here we go. Here's our food.
Okay, it didn't take that long to train.
Wow, there you go.
The magic of television.
So you know John's feeding 300 people today. Tell us about
What do you
that.
mean?
Yeah, we're going to open it up to all the wonderful guests that have come out today, and we're going to feed everybody here at Fox and Friends and have a great time.
You know that? A round of applause for yourselves. Free food.
I'll take your orders, all of you. This milkshake is so good.
Isn't it great?
Are you guys open for breakfast yet?
We have a number of locations that are open for breakfast. Our One Penn Plaza location will be open for breakfast.
Okay.
How excited are you that it's so very cold out when we're doing this? When we planned this in the summer, it was supposed to be a lot nicer.
No, that's great. It's certainly helping keep our Ghirardelli shakes nice and fresh this morning.
Absolutely. No one's complaining about the melting.
What kind of bacon is that? Because that's unbelievable.
That's Applewood smoked thick cut bacon.
What is your favorite thing on the menu?
That's a great question. Today it's actually the jukebox burger, but normally
It is.
I like it simple. I'm a double bacon cheeseburger guy.
Now, you guys, what is
The
this?
original Johnny Rockets burger.
And am I to understand that you guys created this Calvin Harris created this just for us today?
Yes.
There was no
This
jukebox burger before
yes.
today.
It's National Jukebox Day.
Did you know the first jukebox was launched today in 1889 in San Francisco? I don't know what they played, but I'm sure it was something old.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't
Janice,
a DVD.
it's
You know that for sure.
Hey, the waitress is here. Does anybody have any singles?
The waitress is eating your food. I don't think she
Right?
can
How good was that?
You just lost your tip.
All right, Janice, thank you
All
very
right,
much.
gentlemen, thank you so
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Happy
Thanks so much.
Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving
very
to
much.
you. We are thankful for Johnny Rockets.
Yeah, a diner on the plaza.
Absolutely, and a lot of people are going to be shopping on Black Friday through the Christmas season. Stop by Johnny Rockets. You get your food fast,
That's right.
and it's very tasty.
So much to celebrate, guys, because the election is
That's
over
right.
and it's Thanksgiving week. Throughout the election, we traveled to all the battleground
Yep.
states. We were asking you, the voter, which candidate had your vote and why. And this morning, we are going back on tour to see how you guys feel about the results. Abby just got to Jimbo's Diner. We're at a different diner there in Wilmington, North Carolina. We're going to check in with her
Why
next.
is she sitting indoors? Grow up. And when's he not wearing a suit, riding up the elevator in Trump Tower? What's Rick?
Some quick pre-Thanksgiving headlines. Some bad news as we're heading into the holiday shopping season. 250 pilots who deliver for Amazon and DHL are now on strike. The Ohio-based company is trying to get a court order to force them back to work. The union representing those pilots trying to negotiate a new contract.
Hurry.
And check your pantries before you start that turkey. Heinz is recalling hundreds of jars of their pork gravy. The company says that they may actually contain Heinz homemade bistro au jus gravy. That gravy contains milk and soy. The pork gravy does not. Lots of people are allergic to soy. So
Yep. Hey, it was a crucial battleground state in President-elect Donald Trump's path to victory, remember?
So, what do voters in the state of North Carolina think now, 2 full weeks after the election? Let's talk to Abby Huntsman. She's talking to voters at Jimbo's Diner in Wilmington, North Carolina. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. We are at Jimbo's Diner. I'm here with 3 wonderful ladies. They come to Jimbo's every Wednesday morning to have their breakfast together. I'm going to start with Emily here. You are a retired pre-K teacher, but your family's all in the military. Your husband used to be in the Army. Your son is now in the Army. You say you voted for Mr. Trump. What were the issues that were important to you?
My big thing was to make sure we voted for someone, or I voted for someone who was going to support the Constitution and keep it intact.
And you're registered independent.
Yes, I'm registered no party.
So you could have gone either way. North Carolina is, of course, an important state here.
Absolutely.
Didn't go Hillary Clinton's way. Well, and Linda now teaches pre-K still. And you had your own election in your class, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We voted between a duck and a squirrel because the children are 4 and they're familiar with those animals. The duck won because she promised free ice cream.
That's important.
Yes, it is. It's very important when you're 4.
Well, and you're a registered independent as well.
Yes, I am.
And so you said you could have gone either way, but there was something in Hillary Clinton's book that you read that changed your mind.
Yes, I read her book, It Takes a Village. And one of the things that I read in there was that it was the government's responsibility to raise your children, and the parents should take a secondary role. And in looking through documents since that book was written, I did not see anywhere where it had been refuted. And that was important for me because I do teach, and it is a parent's responsibility to raise their children. And the government, certainly, there are areas where they can assist, but it will never be their responsibility.
And you also have family in the military. That's a big issue for you.
Yes, that was a big issue. My husband was in the Marine Corps before we were married, and national security is a top issue for me.
And Melissa, you're in accounting. And we've been talking, all of you guys are military. You've got family, you've got sons, you've got grandchildren in the military. Some of them are going to be cooking you Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yeah.
What were the issues that you cared about?
Well, part of it is the military and having a strong person that will back the military and health care we're in bad need of some good health care.
Yeah. Especially here in North Carolina.
Yes.
You guys talk politics when you come here every Wednesday for breakfast?
Lots of times, yeah.
Yeah.
We do. We're close enough that even if we disagree, it's not going to be a major issue.
Yeah.
So politics certainly do. We talk about a lot of other things also, but we do discuss politics.
Do your kids talk about it, the kids that you teach?
No, and if they do, it's because of their age. It's just repeating what they've heard at home.
What do you want Mr. Trump to focus on with the military?
I want him to make it strong and give the military the right to do their job and not handcuff them to do things that are not quite the way they should be done.
We were talking to you about the protests, Linda, and you said everyone has a right to free speech, but
Yes,
there's a
they
point.
do. Everyone has a right, I feel like, under the Constitution to protest. However, protesting should be a peaceful protest, not destroying property. I don't think that accomplishes anything except to make you look bad.
Yeah. Well, we're going to keep talking politics. I might join you guys every Wednesday for breakfast. We'll see. It is very tempting.
We'd love to have you.
I'm going to have to hand it back in to the guys in New York. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much. I feel like we were eavesdropping on their Wednesday morning breakfast
I
bunch.
know. I love those ladies. Aren't they great?
I like the race between the duck and the squirrel.
Duck and
that
the
they were
squirrel.
talking
I
about.
vote for the duck too. Free ice cream.
All right, straight ahead on this Wednesday, while you were sleeping, reports of a brand new pick from President-elect Trump, South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley for the United Nations Ambassador from the United States. She would be the first woman on his cabinet. Governor Mike Huckabee met with Mr. Trump earlier this week. He's going to join us with reaction in about 15 minutes.
I wonder what job he'll get. And is this a future member of President Trump's cabinet? Breaking it down with Vanilla Ice? Did I say that right? Breaking it down? Carly Shimkus is here talking about the governor and the dance moves that America can't get enough of.
If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the book for my DJ report. Let me hear ya.
John Perry. Here with a look at what's trending is Fox News headlines reporter Carly Shimkus. Carly, he was terrific last night on Dancing with the Stars.
Who knew there were so many sides to Rick Perry?
I know, he's loving it.
So he was one of the first contestants to get voted off back in September.
Yeah.
But he really made an epic return last night for the
kidding.
season finale. A lot of people are responding to that footage that we just witnessed. Lauren tweeting, Rick Perry dancing to Ice Ice Baby with Vanilla Ice. Not the strangest thing to happen with political figures this year.
That's probably about right.
And KT tweets, Vanilla Ice and Rick Perry is the bromance we never knew we needed.
Look at that.
How about that?
All right, now let's talk about the new host of The Apprentice, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's back in the news.
Yes, that's right. And he's getting into the spirit of Thanksgiving. Look at what he says he's done for the past 25 years.
He says this, tell me your Thanksgiving traditions and I'll share them for more than 25 years, and here it is.
Here's his video.
We're pumping up the neighborhood here with some good turkey, okay? So we share.
He's pumping everybody up with some good turkey. He goes out to a children's charity and delivers turkeys, as he said in the tweet. So a lot of people are responding to that. He asked other people to say, you know, what do you do for your Thanksgiving? So Grim Mandy tweeted, we open our home to anyone who can't go home for the holiday. No one should be alone
So
for the
nice.
holidays. Isn't that
Everyone
great?
should do that. Yeah. How about the president-elect Donald Trump? I hear he flew down to Florida to
Yeah, he's spending
for
some
the
time
holidays.
in the sun this Thanksgiving. So he was greeted by fans carrying Trump-Pence signs when his plane touched down in Florida. He'll spend time in Mar-a-Lago with his friends and family. Probably a welcome change from the intense week he's had in New York.
In New York, where most people didn't want him to be president. In Florida, they delivered the presidency for him, perhaps. Now let's talk about the Kardashian curse. Did it strike Kanye?
Apparently. So he was hospitalized after, you know, making the strange rant at one of his concerts over the weekend.
Obama couldn't make America great because he couldn't be him to be who he was. Obama wasn't allowed to do this and still win.
So New York Daily News columnist Linda Stasi wrote a piece saying that he's the latest victim of the Kardashian curse. Her point is that, you know, the marriage to a Kardashian never really winds up that well for the guy.
Right, Lamar Odom, remember what happened to him?
Yeah,
You know,
I don't know. I'm going to publicly stand up for the Kardashians and say I think these guys had some pre-existing issues.
Pre-existing, these are covered
It's a
under
family
Obamacare.
under the microscope
Absolutely.
every day.
Right, and if you marry into it, good luck with the microscope. All right, good job.
Thanks a lot.
We're going to listen to you on 115 on Sirius.
Please do.
All right. Coming up straight ahead. Just when you thought it was over, the Clinton campaign reportedly considering the election rigged. The election had rigged results. Is it true?
Good morning to you and your family. It is Wednesday. It's November 23rd. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I'm Ainsley Earhart. You better buckle up. Airports already packed. Roads are congested. It is about to be the busiest Thanksgiving travel rush that we have seen in nearly a decade. What you need to know before you hit the road.
Terrific. Meanwhile, breaking news from President-elect Donald Trump's transition team as he lands in Florida overnight in Palm Beach, where he got a rock star welcome. The big cabinet job he just offered to South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. We'll tell you about that coming up.
A political rock star and one university's answer to people who call the American flag offensive, take the flag down. We can't even keep up with your emails because that's the outrage level, and we're reading them this hour out loud. Not every word because some aren't suitable for television. Let me just remind you, it's a day before Thanksgiving. Don't buy any presents, just show up, put a smile on your face, and remember to get dressed. Your mornings are better with friends.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags
Where's
on.
my waiter? Oh, they're dancing in front of the building. Johnny Rockets is celebrating 30 years as one of America's premier hamburger and fries joints all across the country. And today, they're on our plaza and they're giving out free hamburgers, and fries, and all sorts of shakes to the first 300 people who stop by.
So fun.
I watched them putting the diner together yesterday. It was amazing, sitting out there in the cold. Meanwhile, talk about a diner. Abby Huntsman's at Jimbo's in Wilmington, North Carolina. We'll be checking in and finding out what they think of North Carolina, what North Carolina thinks, and why they put Donald Trump over the top in the election.
Two things that Brian said this morning really bother me. Number one, you said you're telling people they have to get dressed.
Yes.
Good morning, Abby. So we shouldn't go to the Thanksgiving table naked.
No.
Okay.
Please do that.
Second thing is, he said he watched them set up out in the plaza.
You didn't help?
Didn't help?
Steve knows how handy I am. I wouldn't be able to. I would not be an asset to the construction of anything. But I would like to talk about something else I did focus on, and that was the assembly. I think the best game show out there today, which is based on a real story, is the formation of the Donald Trump cabinet. And I love those elevator doors almost as much as I love the driveway at his golf club, because you never know who's going to be walking up, and there is Donald Trump walking out, going to Mar-a-Lago because he's going to enjoy Thanksgiving at one of his resorts. But there is big news, and a governor of South Carolina is leaving for a job as ambassador in New York.
I know, you know what? I haven't thought about that. Who's going to take her place down in South Carolina? We are learning that Nikki Haley.
I know the answer to that.
You do? What is it?
Henry McMaster.
McMaster will get
the lieutenant governor.
All right.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Anyway, it had been rumored for a while that Governor Haley would be the first woman named to Donald Trump's cabinet, and Fox News can confirm that. She has been picked to be the United States UN ambassador. Of course, she is the daughter of Indian immigrants. She's the first minority governor in South Carolina's history. She is a bright star in the Republican Party, and she is a big part now of Donald Trump's cabinet.
That's right. She's responsible for taking the Confederate flag down off the State House grounds. It was on top of the dome down in South Carolina. They moved it down to the State House grounds, so when you drove down Main Street, you saw the State House. There was the big Confederate flag. She took that down after that Charleston shooting. Her parents own a beautiful clothing store there in the Lexington area of South Carolina, and she's moving up to New York. Come on in. I will give you a tour. I will show you around this great city.
And she's going to have that international experience you need to maybe run for president one day. And now she was rumored to be up for the Secretary of State job. Now it looks like if Donald Trump has his druthers, and the Wall Street Journal reporting this morning, he would pick Mitt Romney as Secretary of State, but there's some pushback from the family and some insiders that you should hold off on this. One of the critics is Newt Gingrich. He's coming up at 8 o'clock. He says Mitt Romney doesn't really see eye to eye with Donald Trump's muscular view of our foreign policy.
You know, a lot of people like that about him. That's why they like Donald Trump, because they like loyalty. And he wasn't loyal to Donald Trump during the process. So a lot of you, we asked you to send in comments. Many of you said that you agree with Newt Gingrich. But a lot of you said the opposite. Sure. It's kind of split, 50-50.
All over the map, our viewers are right now, whether or not Mitt Romney should be the next Secretary of State. Here we've got Finns on Twitter says, I think it's a good pick. Clearly, they set their differences aside. Romney is a good statesman.
Timbo says, I think Romney should have no position ever. He actively tried to derail the nominee of his own party.
Then Jim says, can Romney be loyal? I don't think so at this point.
And Donnie said on Twitter, we think it's Donnie, not Donald Trump. It's Donnie McGlure. It says, if President-elect Trump chooses Romney, he will show us he's ready to lead, working with everyone. And that's a really good point. It's a unit. Initially, when they met at Bedminster a couple of days ago, I thought, well, it's good for unity. If he does put him on his cabinet, it shows that Donald Trump can step aside, move past the campaign, much like he did with the Hillary Clinton announcement yesterday that he's not going to go after her.
I talked to an impactful senator on Capitol Hill, and they said Bolton and Rudy really give the international affairs unit and the State Department some muscle, because not only does that place have to be represented by somebody who doesn't want to go to five-star hotels and eat fancy meals with ambassadors like John Kerry, they need to be cleaned out. The State Department needs to get in line with the Trump philosophy, and they believe Rudy and Ambassador Bolton would do it.
Newt Gingrich, they're on his list, too. I'm curious to find out, though, what happens to Rudy if he doesn't get this
National
position?
Intelligence Director or Homeland Security. I don't know if he would accept it.
Yeah, so let's see. The only other name we know for sure is Dr. Ben Carson. He confirmed on our air yesterday that he has been tapped to be the HUD director.
Let's talk about other rumors. David Petraeus says he'd leave the door open to joining the Trump administration. How could he not be an asset? And a former contributor here, Harold Ford, who almost was a senator from Tennessee in that Republican state, Bob Corker beat him. He is being considered for a job in the Trump administration, possibly with transportation. Yeah. Michelle Reese says forget about her, take herself out of the running for education secretary, which makes sense because she's pro-Common Core.
You know what, though? All this might not even matter.
That's exactly right. It doesn't matter at all, because Hillary Clinton is the rightful president of the United States.
That's right. According to scientists, there could be a recount and Hillary Clinton could actually win.
Yeah. On Thursday, apparently, John Podesta took a call with a number of voting rights experts and computer security experts who looked at the data, particularly for the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And what they found was this. Those three states right there, which really led to Trump winning the presidency. They said that the states with paper ballots or optical scanners, Hillary Clinton, was 7% higher than in the states with electronics. So in other words, they're surmising that perhaps somebody got in, they hacked into those, and wound up giving Donald Trump the whole thing. Now, here's the thing. They say maybe. They have absolutely no proof. And the White House says, we're not interested, we're trying to do a smooth transition. But if they want to file a recount, they've got to hurry, because the deadline in Wisconsin is Friday, then it's Monday in Pennsylvania, and it is the 30th day for Michigan.
I don't even think we should give him the time of day. Also, he's about to win. We know it's a matter of time, about to win Michigan officially. So that would put Donald Trump over the top with over 300 electoral votes. It was a blowout. It was a blowout. I just wonder what these Democrats are doing, trying to convince their electoral representatives not to vote the way the people want.
There are 6 of them.
Now there's these states. Let's have a recount. You see having all these other people protesting in 300 cities. They don't like the outcome of the event.
Brian, they're saying it's rigged, but they have absolutely no evidence that it's rigged. To some, it might look like they're sore losers, but then again, they really didn't want Donald Trump president, and they're pulling out all the stops.
They're not commenting on it. They're not Hillary's camp is not commenting on it. No telling whether or not. It's still unclear whether or not they're going to ask for a recount.
We should not even give it any more time.
Okay.
But let's give Heather Nauert some time.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Steve, Brian, and Ainsley. Almost Thanksgiving. We are looking forward to that. But first, we begin with a Fox News alert and some tragic news to bring you out of the Midwest this morning. Another horrific
And disturbing attack on law enforcement, now leaving police departments across the nation on alert for copycat shooters. Wayne State University K-9 officer Colin Rose is clinging to life at this hour after he was shot in the head just blocks from the Detroit campus. The 29-year-old was investigating car break-ins when he was attacked by a man in the street, a person of interest, D'Angelo Davis, taken into custody about 10 p.m. last night, and that ended a 3-hour manhunt.
Look at the environment, not just here, but across this country. We had 4 officers ambushed over the weekend. This needs to stop. I really believe that a lot of what's fueling these attacks on police officers is some of the anti-police rhetoric.
Wow. Well, right now, Officer Rose is out of surgery. He's in critical but stable condition, and we are thinking of him this morning. We'll bring you the latest as we get it. The school bus driver allegedly screamed, "Are you ready to die?" to those children before crashing and killing 5 kids on board that school bus. That's according to the mother of 3 children who were on board that Chattanooga bus. Police now confirming the driver was going well above the 30-mile-per-hour speed limit when the bus smashed into a tree and split in half.
He wasn't paying attention. He was going real fast. My babies came home and said that this bus driver is cussing on the bus, he's cussing at them, drinking, speeding.
Well, police say that driver, John Anthony Walker, was involved in another collision just 2 months ago. He had gotten his bus license in April. 12 children remain hospitalized this morning. The Mad Holiday Rush is on. AAA now predicting the busiest Thanksgiving travel season in nearly a decade, and that they are expecting 49 million Americans to trek 50 miles or more. That's thanks to cheap gas prices. The national average is about $2.16. If you're one of nearly 4 million people flying, expect long security lines. Trains will also be packed, with tickets selling out since Sunday. And heading to court over climate change, this one is something else. These 8 children suing Washington State for what they say is a failure to protect them from the effects of global warming. They want the Department of Ecology to save natural resources and limit toxic gases in the air. Well, a judge says the court needs more time before making a ruling. And those are your headlines. That's it. Smart alecky little kids.
Wouldn't they have to prove that?
One would think, Steve, yes, but
finally, they're the ones who will do it.
Doesn't always prevail.
How are they paying for their attorney?
Good question.
Pro bono, probably.
There you go. All right, Heather, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, more on our big story of the day. President-elect Donald Trump apparently has picked South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley for the UN ambassador job. Governor Mike Huckabee met with Mr. Trump earlier this week. He's live in Little Rock. He's next. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning. And one university's answer to people who call the American flag offensive, well, let's just take it down.
Yeah, of course.
We can't even keep up with your emails on this one. We are going to be reading them coming up. We have a Fox News alert this morning, a big announcement from the president-elect's transition team. That lady right there, she is South Carolina's Governor Nikki Haley, officially selected as the U.S. ambassador to the UN.
This is Haley's friend and ally Mitt Romney, still reportedly a top choice for Secretary of State. Here for reaction is former Republican candidate for presidency, Mike Huckabee, who joins us from Little Rock. Good morning to Governor.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. So it looks like Donald Trump has his first woman on his cabinet. What do you think of Nikki Haley?
You know, I would have preferred Rick Grinnell in that position just because he's been a loyal, faithful, outspoken supporter of Donald Trump and his policies, and he's got great experience in the diplomatic world. But it's Donald Trump's decision to make if, in fact, it's confirmed. I think the surprise is that Nikki Haley was anything but complimentary and supportive of President-elect Donald Trump during the process. And one of the things that you learn in government is 3 magic words. Personnel is policy. Who you appoint to positions, whether your policy or not, that's going to be their policy at some point coming through. You either have somebody who learns to get loyal quickly or somebody who is going to be a distraction, and in many cases, somebody who will be a problem because they don't bring to the table that sense of loyalty and compatibility.
Well, interesting. Now, I guess that leads me to my next question. If it is true that Donald Trump personally wants Mitt Romney to be his Secretary of State and the family and others are pushing back against that, they rather have Rudy or Bolton, I guess you side with anybody but Mitt?
Well, look, it's not about that I don't care for Mitt personally, but I'm still very unhappy that Mitt did everything he could to derail Donald Trump. He didn't just go after him from a standpoint of saying, I disagree with his policy on immigration, or I disagree with his policy on taxes. He attacked him on a personal level about his character, integrity, his honor. Well, when you do that, there's only one way that I think Mitt Romney could even be considered for a post like that, and that is that he goes to a microphone in a very public place and repudiates everything he said in that famous Salt Lake City speech, and everything he said after that, where he said Donald Trump wasn't fit, that he lacked character. I mean, on and on. That's beyond just the normal political infighting that we all experience. Political infighting is part of the game. But when you go after a person who is the nominee of your party, who has been duly nominated by the voters, and then you're savaging the voters. You're not just savaging Donald Trump. And so it would be a real insult to all those Donald Trump voters who worked really hard. That's what I think he has to stop and consider.
Because then you're rewarding him.
And if he gets it, if he gets it over Rudy too, Rudy's the most loyal guy outside you that he had. And if he wants that job and you give it to the most disloyal, that's a bad message.
Governor, did he offer you a position? And if so, what would you want? Or what did he offer you if he did?
Well, I'm not talking about what it was. I was offered a cabinet slot. I didn't think it was a great fit for me. You know, I didn't do anything I did for Donald Trump because I was elbowing for a government job. I'm not. A lot of people really want it. I'm at a point in my life where I'm quite satisfied with not being in a government job. You know, if he tapped me for something, then he really convinced me that he wanted to turn me loose and do some reforms. You know, you got to consider that. But as far as, you know, I'm sitting around waiting by the phone because I'm hoping that I'm going to be invited to Washington. Look, I don't even like that town. I mean, I take shots every time I go because I feel like, you know, I don't want to be infected with whatever it is going on up there.
What position would you go for?
Never would discuss it. And you know, let me just be very candid. Two things you've got to bring to a president. One is your loyalty. The other is your confidentiality. Because if you're not loyal, you have no business being there. And if you can't keep a confidence, you're a detriment, not really an asset.
And you know what? You just passed that test. All right. Mike Huckabee joining us today from Little Rock. Governor, have a great Thanksgiving with your family.
Yes.
You too. Have a wonderful holiday. All the best.
Thank you to you too.
Wow. There's no couching that. We know exactly where he stands.
All right. 20 minutes now after the top of the hour, and this is the busiest travel day of the year. Coming up, just how confident is Donald Trump, the president-elect? He's already making an 8-year plan for his presidency. Not just 4, 8.
So you're saying he's confident?
He's a confident guy.
All right. Thanks to the election, could your family Thanksgiving end up like this?
Okay, could we just stop? This is Thanksgiving, for God's sake. We wanted a break.
A break from what?
From Thanksgiving craziness.
The etiquette expert, Lizzie.
Well, now it's time for your news by the numbers. First up, $150 million. That's how many of your tax dollars were misallocated over Obamacare. Good job. And that's just the state of New York, one state. A federal audit revealing the Democrat-run state overestimated the number of people actually eligible to register. Oopsie-daisy. Next, 8. That's how many years President-elect Donald Trump apparently is planning on spending at the White House. He hasn't officially announced a second run, but he sent out a tweet yesterday saying he was meeting with people who could help him run the country for the next 8 years. And finally, 30 cents. That's how much Starbucks is quietly raising the prices on some of their drinks and their baked goods. This is the chain's second price hike of the year without a big announcement. Consider that the announcement. All right, there's the turkey. Time to go outside with Brian.
All right, Steve, as you know, Thanksgiving is a time to be with your family, and sometimes it can be stressful, am I right?
That can be, yeah. But sometimes, you read my line. Sometimes it can be stressful, Brian.
Right, like Kuchi
Watch
said.
this.
Okay, could we just stop? This is Thanksgiving, for God's sake. We wanted a break.
A break from what?
From Thanksgiving craziness, from stress, from yelling.
So, with the usual holiday stress and all the tension still running high after this crazy election, how can you avoid a Thanksgiving family throwdown, Brian?
Etiquette expert Lizzie Post is here. She's the great-great-granddaughter of Emily Post, and she joins us right now with some etiquette advice.
First of all, Mom, look who's here. She is like next to God in our house.
Right.
Your family is. Wedding invitations, we were like Googling what would Emily Post do.
So you guys are legendary, but here in New York City, you don't have to go far to see how upset people are about politics and the election. How do we handle it? It's going to come up on Thanksgiving.
No, it absolutely is. And the best thing that you can do is set expectations from the start. As a host, it's perfectly okay for you to say, hey, I really want us to connect and catch up over this holiday, so let's leave politics away from the table.
But don't leave it surface conversation. Just leave politics. You think politics is going to be explosive?
No, it will be explosive, but it's okay for you to redirect the conversation. This is actually, we partnered with Bob Evans this holiday season because both our brands are known for hospitality, and we created a helpline to allow people to call in and ask questions about table setting, how to redirect that conversation if it didn't work the first time, what to do. Do you have a kids' table or not? I mean, any question that you have, we are ready to handle it.
And you say be friendly and be firm?
Be friendly and be... Okay, so this is it. Look, it's Absham. I really appreciate that you have these opinions, but I absolutely want to leave politics out of this Thanksgiving. So tell me about your trip to the Grand Canyon this summer.
Right.
Yeah.
Redirect positively.
And I also understand, too, is a lot of people always get, if they come from out of town, why aren't you married yet? When are you going to have kids?
Oh, God.
People don't want to hear that.
No.
Who are you making out with? You don't want to bring that up.
They might catch you doing it. But
Right,
no, but it's okay for you to redirect that conversation. You know, oh, we haven't made a decision, but tell me where your kids are going to college this year.
You have a holiday helpline for folks if you get into some trouble.
We do.
What's the number?
855-4-MY-TABLE. That's 855, the number 4, and then my
and that's
table.
if you need advice on cutting your turkey or advice on how not to talk.
Absolutely. I will be standing by to answer phones. We've got a ton of people standing by to answer your questions.
Is there anything wrong with engaging? I mean, are there times in families where it's good to engage in politics? The biggest upset in American political history doesn't come up?
I think that it's okay if your family's comfortable talking about it. But do remember that extra guest that might be new to your family. You don't always want to overwhelm them with a very opinionated conversation.
So they don't come back next year. What's the big deal?
Lizzie, the producers were telling me, Kelly, what's the hashtag that is trending right now?
What is it?
How to avoid politics at dinner.
There you go.
People are asking on Twitter, and people are saying, I said, what are some of the responses, Kelly? And she said, one guy says, go sit at the kiddie table if you don't want to talk politics.
I love it. It's another great option.
There's the hashtag, how to avoid politics at dinner.
Oh my gosh.
Table.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. You want to engage, because the other thing that's bad is if you go through Thanksgiving, you don't see these people year long, and you don't have any real conversation.
Right.
You want to have a real conversation.
Ask them how they're really doing. Ask them about what they've been up to. This is one of the few times you do get to connect with family. Why do you want to make it divisive? Why do you want to make it an argument?
You know, everyone in my family pretty much feels the same when it comes to politics, so I don't think we're going to have any
So
fights
that'll be
this
nice
year.
and easy. Right. You
We
can
all
call
get
the hotline for how to set up the buffet or whether or not to have the kids' table, right?
My mom's going to call you just because she wants to talk to a post.
I will be so excited to hear from her.
Lizzie Post, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, Steve, tell me what's coming up next. I have no idea. I don't have a rundown with me.
I've got it right here, Brian. We've got one university's answer to people who call themselves, say that the American flag is offensive. They say, just take the flag down. We can't even keep up with your email on this one. We'll read some of them to you coming up. And the so-called experts predicted an economic meltdown courtesy of Donald Trump. If he's elected, we're straight in the toilet. Instead, we set a record high yesterday on the stock market. And Stuart Varney says it's about to get even better as he takes it to the streets. Wall Street.